Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Laurie and today it's time for the morbid story. So I had already recorded this before, but I guess I know more information now and I decided just to go ahead and re-record it. And let's see if I can get everything right and concise, because I don't script anything. I'm just sort of saying whatever comes off the top of my head. But in 1988, I moved into this house and there was a couple that lived right next door. I didn't know them very well. Actually knew the man better because he was super talkative. So he would come over a lot, like if you were outside doing your yard work or carrying in groceries or whatever, and he was super talkative. And I never felt weird or threatened by this person. He was just talkative. That's just who he was. So I avoided him quite a bit. Anyway, fast forward to somewhere around 2001, and he started selling Avon out of his garage, which I thought was really weird, but I'd pop over there every once in a while and see if he had anything. He just opened his garage and he had so much Avon. I don't know where he got it. His car was full with it. It was really strange. And like I said, I didn't really know his wife very well. She brought me a baby gift over when I had my daughter, but that was the only time we really met, and I would see them occasionally when I would go maybe take my daughter trick-or-treating next door. Anyhow, so he's selling Avon out of his garage, and that is part of the story. It's just a really weird story. So a year later, in 2002, big cop comes to my door. And then at night, after dinner sometime, and he's like, can I come in and ask you a few questions? I didn't know what the heck he was there for. I didn't know anything. So I'm like, yeah, of course. So he comes inside and we're talking, and he starts to ask a lot of questions about my next door neighbor, which I'm like, I don't know. Haven't seen him. I don't know. I haven't really noticed anything because my house, my door faces away from that house. So I really don't see a lot going on over there. Anyway, then he asked about his wife. And as he's asking these questions, it starts to dawn on me, and pretty quickly, that something is wrong. Something's really wrong. So I just blurt out, is everything okay? Is she all right? And he was like, ma'am, I can't tell you that. Well, of course, you could feel the little tinglies on the back of your spine as soon as somebody says that, because you're like, oh my God, something has happened here. So completely freaked out. And it wasn't long after that when you start to notice, because it was evening, but there was police car presence next door. And then the news people came. And then, of course, they started reporting on TV. And that's where we got our information, was TV, just the news. And they were saying, that they had found her body inside. Don't remember if they said at the time what happened on the news. They were speculating, but what had happened is he had been living a double life in another city with another woman, and had told this other woman that he was like a CIA agent, an undercover investigator, which is all a big lie. He just was a retired guy that lived next door. And I mean, these people had grandchildren together. They had been, from time they were in college, they were together. But to get away from her and be with the other woman, he strangled her to death in her home, in their home. He killed the mother of his children, the grandmother of his grandchildren, after I don't know how many years of marriage. I think they were 57 at the time when it happened. So the entire neighborhood was freaked out and upset. We were all upset. And I was pissed. I was super pissed, because I thought, how could you do that to somebody that you had spent so much of your life with? It didn't seem right. But you know what? He never seemed right anyway. He used to tell me that he had like a plate in his head. You know what? I don't know. I really don't know. All I know is that he killed her. And it was really freaky because I never heard a peep coming from their house. And at the time, I used to paint dolls on the back porch of my house. And I could remember hearing them arguing one night. And I will not sit here and say that it was the night that it happened, but I heard arguing, and I thought, that's weird. I never have heard them argue before, not entire years that I had lived there. And I didn't even mention it to the police officer because I didn't remember it until later. You know, I didn't go back and think, oh, wait a minute. But yeah, so the part about the Avon was I saw him being interrogated on TV. I guess they released it on the news or whatever. And they asked him, you know, they were asking him questions about his wife and everything. And he was, you know, very agitated and said, I did not kill my wife. He said that he had sold all of his Avon to Arabs. That was his words. And I think that it was because it was maybe 6 months after 9/11. So it was an easy thing to say at that time. And that he sold it for $15,000. Like, okay, sure. Right. Like, that didn't happen, dude. Really? And they came back for their money and killed his wife, is what he said. And then I remember the officer saying, well, how did you get the scratches on your face? And did you cover that with makeup? I mean, it was very upsetting. So that leads me up to today and what happened next door a few weeks ago. So this house had gone into just being rentals after that and fallen into disrepair, just one renter after another coming and going. And it's been, I mean, that happened in 2002. So it's been a long time since that happened. But I guess it's been a couple of months now, but it had only been a month when this happened. An Asian man rented the house, and he had a small child with him, a little girl who was special needs. And he had gone across the street to my other neighbor and asked her if she would watch his child for several days. And she was like, sir, I do not know you. You don't know me. You shouldn't be asking anybody, just anybody, to watch your kid. It was just weird. She called me and told me about it after. And I was like, yeah, that is weird. So I guess a couple of weeks after he moved in, he rented a room to this other woman. And I think we all just assumed it was maybe a wife or a girlfriend or something. I didn't really see. Maybe I saw her one time outside by a car or something. I don't remember. But she moved in a couple of weeks after. And then a couple of weeks after that, we noticed a huge police presence next door, again, at the same house. And I really remember thinking, are you kidding me? What is going on? And there's a CSI truck outside. It's just not, it's not good. It's not good. But the Asian man's outside and the little girl is outside. So we don't really know what's going on. And then we see on the news that the woman that had moved in a couple of weeks ago was missing. Or we saw it on Facebook. That's what we did. We saw it on Facebook. The police had posted a picture of her and said, has anyone seen this woman? Please contact immediately if you have, that kind of thing. So we're like, whoa, okay, so she's missing. And then, of course, immediately I'm thinking, oh my God, did this man kill her in that house? Like, it can't have happened twice. Then later that night, that was a Sunday, later that night, we found out that the Asian man was arrested because the little girl had bruises all over her, and an officer noticed and started to examine her. And then the Asian man got very upset about it, and there was a big slap mark on her face, and it was just weird. So they arrested him for child abuse, and they brought the child into protective custody. And to this day, I really don't know what happened to him. I know I saw a court order that said he was not allowed to have any, he couldn't be around the child. There was like a restraining order. So I don't know, to be honest, at this point, if he was the one who was hurting the child or not, I don't know. What I did find out, though, was that another woman had moved into the house as well, only a couple of days before, and she was apparently a babysitter for the little girl, and she had her own child. Whew. So there's a second woman that nobody even knew about, except for my neighbor across the street who could see the house. She had seen her and her little boy. I think she has a baby, like still pretty small. So this younger girl, she's like 27, and the other woman that moved in before was 36. That's the way I'll distinguish him. The 36-year-old is missing, and the 27-year-old is a girl that we didn't even know was there. And she apparently had left the house on a Friday night. She had put a mattress on the top of her car and drove away. And somebody's neighborhood cam doorbell cam caught her driving away. And the mattress fell off of her car just around the corner. I have a picture of it right here. And she set it on fire. And the neighbors that were by where the mattress went up in flames, like, heard it outside. I didn't, because it was around the corner, but there's a big burn mark that's probably going to be there forever. Anyway, so she took off. She left the house, and that Asian man had not been home that night. He was out of town. So only the two women were home with the two kids. And that 27-year-old girl who was supposed to be babysitting the Asian man's little girl left her there in the house alone. She just drove away with her child and the mattress. And then it's like, where is the 36-year-old woman that's missing? Because the family hadn't heard from her. So the police followed her to another state and insisted that she, cooperate with them, and that she wouldn't. So they had to go and get an order so they could search the car, and that's where they found the woman in her trunk of her car. So apparently the 27-year-old girl murdered the 36-year-old woman and shoved her in the back of her car, put her mattress on top of it, and drove away, leaving like a 3-year-old alone in the house. It's an incredible story. And we don't know why she killed her. Obviously, it was her who killed her. The Asian man wasn't even home. But I saw her arraignment, and I'm going to pull it up really quick and read the charges. Okay, I found it. So her charges are child neglect with great bodily harm, assault. So apparently she had been abusing the child, murder in the first degree, premeditated, and tampering with or fabricating physical evidence. So yeah, she had cleaned up the house before she left, and of course destroyed the mattress. That was the other lady's mattress. So we really don't know. All I know is that she's held with no bond. I know that her court date is around April 23rd, I believe is what it said. But yeah, we that's all we know, unfortunately, for the family of this woman. They're speculating that the 36-year-old woman found the 27-year-old woman abusing the child, and maybe she killed her for it. But to be honest, we don't know. I will let everybody know when I know what happened. It's just very, very sad that this happened again in the same house, that there's been 2 murders next door. I mean, how many people know anybody that lives next door to a house where not only did one person get murdered, but then another situation where someone else was murdered in the same house? It just feels like really bad juju over there, and it's like really sad. So that's my story, and I hope everybody's doing okay during this time. I'm feeling a little cooped up myself. I'm sure everybody is. It's not like I don't stay home all the time. I do, but every little sniffle is me thinking, oh my God, is something wrong? Am I getting sick? But I'm being super cautious, and I am staying home. I'm ordering things online, and I think it's because I can't go anywhere per se. My husband is also working from home, thankfully, so that's more safe for both of us, and we do take daily walks. But even today, I'm not feeling 100%. I think it might be allergies. We haven't had any rain in a month, and we really need the rain. But I just want to wish everybody safety and wellness, and I really hope that the video at the end here where I showed the eyelashes was helpful. That's always been kind of a mystery to some people. I buy those lashes on Amazon. I'll write it on the picture and everything, and I'll make sure to post some links below, so if you're looking for this doll or those lashes or any of the other supplies, I'll have it all linked below. I'm sorry that the story was somewhat morbid, very morbid actually, but I hope it will be a distraction from the normal news that is constant all the time about the virus, and I'm praying that this will end soon and people will get better and the spread will stop. If you like my videos, please subscribe and click the little bell. It really helps my channel and helps me grow. I appreciate everyone who has subscribed. Thank you so, so much. I hope you like my little living dead doll, Sabrina. And if you have any questions, just put it in the comments below. I will be happy to answer any questions you might have. Be safe, everyone. Bye.